The following is an exclusive presentation of News Radio KMAN, your home for K-State athletics. It's game time. This is The Game on News Radio KMAN.
This week I'd mentioned a number of times how looking forward I was to go into today's open 45 minutes of K-State football practice number 2 today. I was really wanting to see Avery throw it around a little bit. I wanted to see Dylan Edwards in action as a running back, as a wide receiver, as potentially a kick returner. Want to watch the offensive line a little bit. Defense, the whole thing, right? I was in my car ready to go. 9:45 in the morning. I get in the car, it starts, and then I hear a ding. That ding was an icon on my dashboard that I had a low tire.
Whoop.
I get out of the car and I see,
low tire.
My passenger side front tire was low. And I was like, oh my God, please, not now, on the biggest day of my career as of yet. Can you do this to me?
Your biggest day of your career? There's got to be bigger days than this.
Is not every day leading up to this football season not everybody's biggest day?
But I mean, the first game you ever did PA, that wasn't your biggest day of your career?
I always look at the following day, this day or the next day, as potentially my biggest day.
I mean, that's a decent mindset to have for sure. But biggest day of your career, interesting.
What day did the Cubs win the World Series?
November 2nd, 2016.
Probably your biggest day. So you don't look at the past as your biggest day. You look at potentially the future as your biggest day. I don't know, I'm just making things up.
It's definitely up there, but probably not the greatest day.
What was better than the Cubs winning the World Series?
I can't think of it right off the top of my head right now.
Well, then I would say that's the front runner.
Probably not. Sports is fun, but not that far.
So you're saying something outside of sports was a bigger day?
Yeah, probably. Probably when I graduated K-State, that was probably a bigger
deal.
Okay.
There you go.
It's probably a bigger deal.
There you go.
I didn't see it that way at the time for some reason, but it was probably a bigger deal.
And then the next big day was when you got a part on the show, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was probably 10 days later, I guess. Sure.
Anyway,
that was an interesting conversation right there.
Had a low tire, and unfortunately, I've had bad luck this calendar year, these last 365 days, of something ending up in my tire, and it's got a slow leak. But this one was a little bit faster than a slower leak, so I was like, I got to choose one or the other. Instead of going to the open practice, I got my tire fixed. So I did not go to the open practice.
Congratulations on doing the responsible thing.
No, well.
Welcome to adulthood.
There is also another open practice coming up a week from Monday.
There you go.
Like, there's another opportunity. Maybe these guys, they're maybe potentially a little green right now. It's more just drill stuff. Maybe we'll get more action.
They're just waiting. They're just waiting for the great Mitch Fortner to show up and practice in front of.
Well, until they need a PA announcer at practice.
Yeah.
Me showing up is no big deal. But there is some video out there that I can analyze and give you some feedback because there were certainly some things to notice. From what I was able to see from my research and also from video that's out there, thanks to my colleagues out there in the media world covering the Kansas State Wildcats. Welcome to the game. Mitch Fortner, Trey Coverdale, and AJ Shaw. We are with you until just 5 today because Royals baseball starts at 5 o'clock with first pitch at 5:40, taking on the Detroit Tigers. That's in Detroit, right? Yeah, of course It is Detroit because they're starting at 5:40.
Yes.
We're not flipping the times again. With the Royals playing at home, it's not cooling down. We just started August. That's when it just heats up. We just get started with summer here in the month of August. But Troy will give us another Olympics update, another good day for the Americans. And football officially returns tonight with the Hall of Fame game and AJ's team is in action.
Officially return? Are you putting air quotes around officially?
Well, a game is being played, isn't it? It's not like going
It's
in the
not
record books as a, you know.
That's not a game.
The problem is the QB is not playing tonight, unfortunately.
It's something to watch.
So in other words, it's a Bears game.
You're gonna get a.
I have nothing
football
to say,
fix.
man.
You'll get your football fix. Well, let's look at today's poll question at the game KMAN on Twitter. Are you going to watch the Hall of Fame game tonight? 65.5% say no. They will not.
I don't blame them.
I'll have it on.
Anybody who missed the Simone Biles act today is going to be watching NBC this evening.
Well, for sure, but if you're like me and caught some of it today,
sure.
you're not going to watch it. And if it was like Olympics in one of our time zones, you know, where it would be live tonight, I would watch the Olympics over the Hall of Fame game. But I'm going to catch a little bit of it. I got to get a little bit of a football fix in, even though starters might not be playing tonight.
To me, it's a glorified practice. It's a scrimmage.
Well, I like this response from this one guy. He goes, "Snooze fest just makes me pine for the real thing." Yeah, I agree with that.
Well, if people weren't
Starts whetting
interested,
your appetite. Yeah.
If nobody was interested in practice takeaways and preseason games and any sort of knowledge about their teams, then I would not be doing this opening segment. Do you want me to skip it? We could just talk about whatever. I could just not give takeaways about K-State's open practice.
See, practice is fine. I'm just saying it's
Well, preseason. Listen,
it's wrong to call it a game.
People are like, "Oh, preseason games don't matter." Preseason games determine the pecking order of your team.
It's just wrong to call it a game.
You can find some hidden gems in these. You know,
Sure.
this is how guys make the
You're
team.
not wrong.
And it's a scrimmage.
This is the time where guys like Deuce Vaughn prove that they're going to be the greatest running back ever.
Well, it's not the Cowboys though. It's another team out of Texas playing tonight. Which, by the way, you talk about two. We don't talk about a quarterback that kind of set a high bar for Caleb Williams is C.J. Stroud.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Being the number one guy. I don't know.
The funny thing, though, was nobody was expecting C.J. Stroud to come in and dominate like he did. People are expecting Caleb Williams to come in and dominate.
This is true.
Very true.
In a tough division.
Yeah, very tough division. Green Bay is going to be good again, probably. I almost said hopefully. Man, I almost got there. I almost said that word.
Okay,
Anyways, we'll talk about that at 4:40.
From today's opening practice, or not opening practice, but open practice for the media for a number of minutes, which, by the way, I didn't get to attend, but there's plenty of video out there that I can give you an analysis of what I saw and what I like. And what I like is speed. And what I like is quick passes. And what I like is getting the football out of Avery's hands and getting to the speedsters on the team. I saw enough there to be pretty excited about what the offense could potentially be. Even though they didn't show a whole lot, it wasn't at full speed. They weren't playing against the defense. But you saw a little bit of the blueprint and the plan for the 2024 season. And what I loved more than anything was that they actually ran a jet sweep for Dylan Edwards. And I'm like, yes, because, the last couple of years, the jet sweep has been used more with the wide receivers. Malik Knowles scored on the first play of the season 2 years ago on a jet sweep. That was a part of the Big 12 championship game. That was a part of last season. Heck, I'm a big jet sweep guy. I use it in college football 25 all the time.
Who are you usually using on the jet sweep with K-State? Jace Brown?
No, Jace Brown sometimes. It depends which direction I'm going.
So typically Dante Cephas, I'm guessing, right?
So Dante Cephas would be a jet sweep to the right.
Sure.
Jace Brown would be a jet sweep to the left.
Sure, yeah.
It's those two. And I think I mentioned it yesterday, like the storylines that I have about this team is first, the running attack that the three-headed monster could be, but how the wide receiver room could be the deepest under Chris Kleiman yet.
Yeah.
Big part of that is you have more weapons, you have more speed, just all around at the skill position. Got to get that S in there. Skill positions.
You're right.
Not just one. Just seeing that as just an example of what the offense will be doing was honestly pretty exciting. And then DJ Giddens was limited. He did a little bit, I could see in the video, but Dylan Edwards was got the ball quite a bit. So in different ways, like they were also running some running back screens, which was pretty cool. But again, you're allowing your skill guys to go use what they got, and that's the skills of their speed and quickness and strength. So they certainly showed that. And again, just watching the video, a lot of drill stuff, maybe not a whole lot of stuff that's exciting. What I also wanted to see, though, was any sort of signs on kick and punt return. Because that's got to get better, and I think it's going to get better. You had Sterling Lockett back there. You had Dylan Edwards back there. Jace Brown was back there. Keegan Johnson was back there. I thought it was really cool that, and I didn't know these even existed. Maybe I'm way behind on this, but K-State has machines that does the punting for you.
Yes.
It wasn't a punter for K-State doing the work. It was a machine putting the ball in the air for the guys to backpedal or retreat to go get a punt.
You mean just normal jugs gun or?
No, I couldn't see. I don't know what
okay.
it was. I don't know if it was a jug. I don't know exactly what it was.
Okay.
If it was, just a jugs machine and they just had it up in the air.
Right.
That could have been it. I don't know.
Okay.
But it probably was it. I've just never seen it used like that. You know what I mean?
Okay. I got you.
So if you like speed, you're going to like K-State football.
In other words, get the
2024.
sound effects like the Indiana Pacers home games going,
Okay.
where it's basically the cars racing by when they run down the court. Speeding cars, racing.
Okay.
See, yeah.
I get it.
That's our, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I just thought it was a
Okay.
interesting thing to bring up.
Okay. Roadrunner beep beeps. Get those ready. Sound effects, Get all the games off stuff together.
They already do the car race during the games. Could be could be a Roadrunner thing.
Yeah.
But UTSA's the Roadrunners.
Yeah, okay.
We'll workshop it.
Yeah.
What else is fast out there, AJ?
Lambo. I don't know. I'm
What?
just thinking of Lamborghini. Just thinking off the top of my head.
Yeah, we both
was thinking,
we both did the double take here. Lambo.
Different
No,
spelling.
No,
Yeah.
yeah.
Not Lambeau Field. Lambeau Field, first off, can't move.
You ever been there?
No, never been to Lambeau. Don't want to go to Brown Bay.
I'm glad you guys know how to entertain yourselves.
I'm going to say, is that along the lines of the Sin River? Is that what you're getting at?
Pretty
is Brown
much.
Bay?
Is that the color of the grass?
Yeah. Oh, boy.
I mean, if you've ever been to Green Bay, I mean, everything looks just dreary there.
No, I've never been.
Who would want to go to Green Bay?
I would love to go to a game there.
I mean, sure, but
Well,
just go to
apparently-
Green Bay in general. Who would want to go there?
Apparently quarterbacks. Because they
true.
don't want to go to Chicago.
That's the second time you've got me today, man. Jeez. Have to go
You might
find
be
those
eating your
peanut
words
M&Ms
this
now.
season with Caleb Williams.
I'm sorry?
Oh, I'm
Nah,
saying Troy.
It's the Bears. They're going to find a way to screw this up.
Do you agree with that?
No. I'm trying to be optimistic this year.
Let's see if I can give you. I mean, honestly, that was truly my biggest takeaway. I saw Avery Johnson had his hair up in a not up. It's like a ball. It's like a rat tail ball thing. What do you call that? You guys don't have really.
I have no hair to
It's a man bun.
Essentially.
It's not really a man bun though. Man buns are on top.
Yeah, I don't know. I love Avery, but I'm not a huge fan of that, but it is what it is. I know most people are saying, are you kidding me? How could you say that?
But no, right now, word out of practice, it's good. Everybody's, for the most part, healthy. Nobody really sitting out right now. Maybe a couple of guys, but no big deal. DJ Giddens was limited, but that's not a problem at all. Nothing really to report on the defense. Didn't really get to see any of that anyway. But it sounds like Hadley Panzer is maybe not going to be playing center, which is interesting. He's going to be primarily a guard. Sam Hecht, Michael Caprio were taking snaps at center. So that's really all to report. Just get ready for some speed. Get ready for some speed on that offense. Quicker passes, get the ball out of Avery's hands and let the guys do their thing.
the usual.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, electricity. electric. That's the name of the game for the K-State offense in 2024. All right, both these guys are on their phone, so they don't care about the Cats. So let's take a break, and when we come back, Troy's Olympics update is coming up next on The Game.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the game.
You, my friend, are in the game on News Radio KMAN.
At the game.
We're 30 days out from K-State football against UT Martin. The Skyhawks coming to town on August 31st for a 6 o'clock kickoff. It means Power Cat Game Day 4 hours prior to kickoff will begin at 2 o'clock here on News Radio KMAN and also on our sister station, 101.5 K-Rock. Mitch Fortner, Trey Coverdale, and AJ Shaw are back with you. Taking you to 5 o'clock, we got Royals baseball tonight from Detroit. 5:40 for the first pitch. Seth Lugo will be on the hill for Kansas City. And pregame coverage is at 5 o'clock. Well, the Olympics continue, of course, today, and another good day for the Americans. You ready to go, Troy?
I've got it.
All right, the music is queued up. It is Olympics update number 4 from the one, the only, as far as I know, Troy Coverdale.
United States swimmer Katie Ledecky, just a little bit ago, becoming the most decorated American female Olympian of all time in any sport. That because she and her American teammates took home the silver in the women's 4x200 meter freestyle relay final. Australia won the gold, China winning bronze. No surprise, Australia wins the gold in that event, by the way. It marks Ledecky's 13th Olympic medal, though, meaning she makes history as the most decorated American female Olympian of all time in any sport. Simone Biles dazzled once again, winning the gold in the women's all-around at the Paris Olympics. She's also the oldest woman to accomplish that feat, dating back to 1952. The 27-year-old Biles nailed her floor exercise to edge Brazil's Rebecca Andrade. 1.199 points the difference between the two. It was one of the tightest victories of Biles' career. She became the first woman to win all-around gymnastics gold at non-consecutive Olympics, having previously done so in Rio, of course, 2021. She did not win because she asked out because of the twisties, as it was known as. It's the sixth, by the way, Olympic gold for Biles, the most ever of an American gymnast. She picked up her 5th in the team competition earlier in the week. Teammate Suni Lee, the defending all-around champion from Tokyo, finished 3rd for the bronze. Summer McIntosh, Canada's 17-year-old swimming sensation, claimed her gold second medal of the Olympics with another strong performance, romping to a victory in the 200-meter butterfly, dealing Regan Smith of the U.S. another runner-up finish. Liam Corrigan, Justin Best, Michael Grady, and Nick Mead with a little history. The first U.S. rowing gold medal in the men's 4 class since 1960. They held off New Zealand and Britain to win that one. The U.S. women's basketball team extended its Olympic winning streak to 57 games, besting Belgium this afternoon 87-74. No surprise, Brianna Stewart and Asia Wilson led the way for the U.S., combined 49 points on 16 of 26, 20 rebounds, 6 assists. And the men's golf tournament underway at Le Golf National, with Xander Schauffele seeking a second straight gold medal after winning at the Tokyo Games.
There you have another Olympics update from Troy Coverdale. We're able to send him to Paris this year, but maybe in 4 years out to Los Angeles.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. That would be fun.
Here's the thing, though. We talk about pollution in the sin. How are we going to deal with the pollution in the air?
That's true.
Yeah, no air competitions until we get it cleaned up.
Did you see, and it's gone viral, all of the discussion about the gentleman from Turkey who was part of their team shooting?
Yes, and how cool he looked.
And how cool he looked, and how all these folks are having fun. You know, you've got this person, all of the sights, the glasses, all of this, and he just steps up and he's got a pistol.
Yeah, nothing fancy.
No.
Did you see there was a bunch of Alec Baldwin memes on X today or Twitter? Yeah.
No. There were plenty more that were actually rather funny in that this is the next James Bond.
Yeah, in this shooting competition, this is maybe the event where the competitors look the coolest.
Right.
Yes.
It's just the way they stare down the barrel and
Exactly.
look at the targets, like the perfect camera angle.
Yeah.
Some are wearing these really cool glasses. There was a woman from I think Korea, South Korea, that was in the shooting competition, and there was like a camera like looking up at her from the ground, and she just kind of lifted up the lens, was staring at that camera, gave a wink right after a big old bullseye. I was like, that is just cold-blooded. Really
Yeah.
is. I was thinking about this question last night because of the medal standings.
Sure.
The U.S. does lead overall in medals with 37, and France is in second with 27. But the U.S. is not leading in gold medals.
Right. It is a close race, though. I mean,
They're catching up. It wasn't.
Yeah.
They were kind of behind, and now they're give you an update. U.S. with 9 gold, China in the lead with 11.
Let's bear in mind as well, this weekend starts track and field.
True.
Things are going to change very quickly with the way that those events roll off.
Would you rather have the U.S. lead in overall medals or lead in gold medals? I think gold.
Yeah.
Because it's harder to remember the silver medalists. You know what I mean? Or the bronze.
Yeah, it's valid, and
you become more of a legend if you get the gold.
Yeah.
Well, as you know, how would you like to be Rebecca Andrade of Brazil, who has basically been coming in second to Simone Biles all year in Worlds and now at the Olympics,
After a while, you get pretty frustrated.
or Regan Smith, who can't get past a 17-year-old from Canada in the pool in
Exactly.
Summer McIntosh.
Totally.
Yeah, I mean, right there, just two great examples in the update alone of athletes who are outstanding, but they just can't get past that one person.
Well, the U.S. has a pretty big lead, though, in silver medals. It's a +4 over France. And then after that, I mean, China comes in at third. So, it's a pretty big gap in silver medals. But you're right. I mean, once it hits track and field this weekend, you have to think the U.S. may take the lead in the gold medal category.
I don't know anything about the U.S. in track and field this Olympics.
Seeing Sha'Carri Richardson
I should know that name, yes.
alone
goodness
here
she'll
on
be
the
back,
screen.
finally.
Yeah, she's back.
They didn't screw her over this time.
Right. Yeah, she's back, and that's going to be a big part of it. And you've got, again, a run of athletes that have been out to world record times. That track up at the University of Oregon, Hayward Field, what they have turned that into in terms of the site for the U.S. championships alone is just amazing. And some of the times coming out of that really set up what should be an interesting run here in track and field for the U.S.
4 down, 6 to go on Troy Coverdale. Updates from the Olympics. We'll take a timeout. Football back. It's coming up next on the game.
Your home for K-State sports.
Deflected on DeBron, intercepted. It's gone from bad to worse for West Virginia. First interception of the year for Geno Smith.
This is The Game on News Radio KMAN.
I have another Olympics question for you guys. So, in the Olympics, and Troy mentioned one of these sports during his update, and that's golf. So, a couple of Olympic sports like golf and like tennis are already they're popular in the United States.
Yeah.
They have superstars, and you could throw soccer in there as well. Those sports, do you watch them more for the Olympics? Or do you typically watch them more when they actually play and it's not Olympics and it's not, it's not a world competition? When are you to watch it more? Or is it even?
No, I probably lean towards watching them more in the Olympics because again, that's also probably just my difference in age and generation, because when the Olympics came on in the summer, other than baseball, that was about it. And it was sold a lot harder. I mean, it's sold hard now, but there are so many other things that people can be paying attention to during this time frame. It's also why you don't have the political conventions falling at any point during the Olympics. Folks are questioning why the Democrats are waiting so long for their convention. Well, that's why. They didn't want to schedule against the Olympics. It's tradition. And, again, back to just my generation of it, it kind of became ingrained that the Olympics were the show every 4 years. And honestly, as it was every 2, because you had the winter that was on the off year.
AJ, I'm sure, grew up playing a lot of tennis.
No.
Oh, well.
That was a rich joke, I know. I know.
Yes, it was.
What's funny is I actually probably grew up playing more tennis than he did, but it was more just looking for something to do.
I grew up playing none of these sports, unless it was recess, and that only sport was soccer.
With as bad a shape as the basketball nets were it was a combo tennis court / basketball court in Circleville. So you kind of learned to play tennis because basketball, the rim was awful.
Well, yeah, I mean, our nets at Morganville Elementary were chain.
Right, yeah. Yeah. You never were level with the rim, one of those things, yeah.
For me, it depends on the sport because I don't really watch any tennis at all. If it's golf, it's typically a major event like the Masters or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah.
And for soccer, I don't do a good job of keeping up with MLS and the Premier League, but when it's Team USA playing, I'm pretty pumped to watch it.
If it's the World Cup, primarily when the women were good, I would watch it for soccer. Tennis, it really is just one of those things. If it's on, I might look at it. Like when Wimbledon was going on, I had it on in there, and when we'd be sitting in the middle of In Focus or the morning show, I'd watch it maybe for a few minutes. With the Olympics, definitely basketball. I mean, obviously you watch basketball all year long, but tennis and soccer, those are not really sports I ever really grew up watching. And even, you mentioned playing, it was football, basketball, baseball where I was at.
Well, and you also have to remember, me growing up in the 4 channels and need the antenna to be able to see it all. Mm-hmm. The World Cup, to the extent that it's on televised now, you weren't getting full wall-to-wall coverage of the World Cup.
Yeah.
You weren't getting every U.S. match on television.
I mean, that kind of changed
in those days.
It kind of changed with ESPN probably more than anything.
It changed with ESPN. It changed when the women started to be competitive and made their run. But, soccer as an entity on television wall-to-wall the way it is was not something that was taking place. They tried some with CBS doing a weekly game when the North American Soccer League was a thing in the late 70s. But even there, it didn't really take off all that well. You could argue the same thing. NASCAR wasn't a huge dramatic draw on television until it got into the 90s. And things changed up and opportunities to view it more came around because of ESPN. It's kind of the same thing with college football. I mean, it was watched, but you were limited to what you were able to watch just because of the fact that the backbone wasn't there for all of those games to be shown.
You mentioned soccer here, and you could see U.S. men's team wishing Greg Berhalter a happy birthday.
What?
and everybody was clowning the admin in the comments.
Oh, man. That's granted, it's not as bad as Kirby Smart wishing the player who got himself arrested last weekend
that's true.
A happy birthday, but that's still pretty bad.
That's true.
Troy, can we get a $1 bet tonight on the Hall of Fame game?
No. I am not betting on the glorified scrimmage, no.
No, I can't get a passing yards over under on Brett Ripon.
No.
Whatever his
Brett
last-
Ripon? Well,
No.
he's not even starting. It's going to be Tyson Bagent.
Well, I'm sure, but he'll still play.
Brett Ripon.
Brent Ripon, who couldn't handle it in Denver, where they were looking for a quarterback still. Oh, boy.
Really interesting. Chicago's depth chart for running back. DeAndre Swift, Khalil Herbert, Roshan Johnson. Should be pretty good.
Roshan Johnson had a decent rookie year last year. He showed flashes at times that he could be a solid back in this game. DeAndre Swift is coming off a career year in Philly, and because of how talented their running back room is, that's pushed Khalil Herbert down to the number 3 guy. And there were actually rumors last year that he was on the trade block, and during the offseason he'd be on the trade block. So it'll be interesting to see what Eberflus and the coaching staff, primarily Shane Waldron, see in him. Shane Waldron, the offensive coordinator. But I'm interested to see how Roshan Johnson does in year 2. He had a very solid rookie year. He's going to be back at number 2 RB behind Swift. So it'll be interesting to see where his growth is in year 2. I haven't heard much of him in camp, but it'll be interesting to see.
You know, I don't know, Troy was busting your chops about, you know, the Bears being the Bears and, you know,
it comes with the territory.
The thing, the Bears' offense should be pretty good.
Yeah, they should be.
I mean, you have 2 1,000-yard receivers from last year.
One of them just got freshly paid, DJ Moore.
I mean, Keenan Allen, he caught over 1,200 last year.
Yeah,
and
on
then
a bad team.
I don't know how to say his last name, but the
Rome
pick
Odunze
out of Washington. I mean, that's a pretty talented kid as well.
And there's been a lot of reports out that Tyler Scott, who was a 4th-round pick out of Cincinnati last year, could be a factor for them. The tight end game is solid with Cole Kmet and Gerald Everett. The offensive line is a question mark. The interior offensive line is not very good.
They don't have Cody Whitehair anymore.
Cody's a good guy, but it was time for him to go. He was a disaster last year. But the point I'm making is the interior line is a big question mark. Nate Davis has been mostly MIA through the early stages of the training camp, also OTAs and all other stuff. The center position, we don't know if Ryan Bates or Coleman Shelton's going to start, and then Tevin Jenkins. I mean, if he can't be healthy, you know, then there's a lot of questions with the interior line for the Bears. Defensive line depth is another issue. Ryan Poles has not addressed, the GM has not addressed the defensive end and the defensive line in general in its 3 years on the job for some reason. They still are lacking a edge opposite of Montez Sweat. So there's a lot of question marks in the trenches. The secondary is fantastic. Jalen Johnson is a top 5 corner in this game. The safeties, Brisker and Byard, solid. I'm not a big fan of Brisker, but solid. Tyreek Stevenson in the other corner had a good year last year. Got better as the season went on. Kyler Gordon got better as the season got on at nickel. Linebacker position, it's okay. You know, I like Jack Sanborn. I like TJ Edwards. Edmonds is a little overpaid. He had kind of a down year last year, but he showed sparks at times. Biggest issue for the Bears this year is going to be offensive and defensive lines and Caleb Williams' development. Nothing else matters in Caleb Williams' development. But it's different when Justin Fields came in because you're expecting to be contenders this time. You're expecting the Bears to win games, unlike when Justin Fields came in and the team was a pile of manure. But yeah.
Anything you want to say about the Texans? The thing about the Texans, the Chicago Bears are their own story.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Houston was really good last year, and they're supposed to get better this year. But with this, if the starters aren't going to play, that's not too entertaining because you're not going to look on this too deep and like, oh, I'm excited to see this person or that person play, especially with just kind of a not exciting draft.
The Texans have they actually had a decent draft. The Texans have a solid team. DeMeco Ryans is an excellent coach. Bobby Slowick is a fantastic play caller, and C.J. Stroud is a top 10 quarterback in the game. They bring in Stephon Diggs. Yeah, there were issues in Buffalo, but Stephon Diggs is still an elite wide receiver. You still have Nico Collins. You got Tank Dell coming back, who they for sure missed late down the stretch last year. Tank Dell being hurt. Noah Brown's still there. Dalton Schultz is still there. You bring in Joe Mixon. You still have Dameon Pierce, who had a bit of a down year last year. Defensively, the Texans got better as the season went on. Will Anderson is a beast.
I mean, that whole defense is SEC. All SEC players.
Yeah.
That whole defense.
Yeah, Will Anderson is a beast. I I wasn't as high on Will Anderson coming out of Alabama.
I was.
I thought he was kind of over.
I was.
I thought he
voted
was
for him-
overrated.
I voted for him to win the Heisman a couple of years ago.
Really?
The first year I voted on the Heisman, he was my pick.
You picked Will. I didn't even realize that.
He was I thought he was absolutely the best player
Well,
in America, and he wasn't even invited to New York.
You had a good argument there. He had a good year his sophomore year. I was not as high on him after his junior year. I was a little higher on Tyree Wilson, but that's also my Big 12 bias. But Will Anderson's a beast. The Texans did it right when they moved up all those spots to take him. Again, the key is this year, can they move into that echelon of being where the Chiefs are at, where the Ravens are at? I don't want to say where Buffalo's at because Buffalo has taken a big step back in talent this offseason. But that's going to be the key this year for Houston. But a guy you got to keep an eye on, guys, Bobby Slowick.
Once again, taking a look at today's poll question at the game KMAN on Twitter. Are you watching the Hall of Fame game tonight? 66.2% say no. If the starters were playing just for a couple of drives, like that would be super fascinating. Like if this was a regular season game, early regular season, like week 1,
Right.
this would be a super fascinating game to watch.
Well, they're going to play each other week 2 on Sunday Night Football.
Oh, they do? Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of strange, right?
Yeah, it is kind of strange. You get the Hall of Fame game, and then they play each other early in the year. You usually don't see that.
Yeah, I don't ever recall
Yeah.
seeing that. Hall of Fame game tonight at 7. It's on televised multiple places, ESPN, ABC. Here on K-Man tonight, Royals baseball with pregame coverage at 5:40 for the first pitch at Detroit. We'll wrap up the show next on the game.
I started the Maine Frisbee Golf Club at Cornell.
The game.
This is madness.
News Radio KMAN.
Welcome back to the game, News Radio KMAN. Guys, what is your favorite part of football season?
The games. The games. K-State games. K-State football. That's my...
The tailgating, though, has to be in there. I am looking forward to. That is one thing I enjoy, walking by
Yes.
the tailgates en route into the stadium.
I like checking the scene out. My parents will tailgate, and I'll go hang out with them for a little bit. Whatever they're bringing for food, I'll
Sure.
eat some of that.
So what are they typically grilling?
Well, they don't actually do a whole lot of grilling. They don't ever bring a grill or anything unless they're with somebody that's bringing one.
Okay.
They'll just do, like, for one game last year, a cousin brought pulled pork. So we had
Solid.
some pulled pork. You know, it's like a picnic more than a...
So
tailgate, but-
are you a brat or a hot dog type of guy?
You know, if you would have asked me this when I was 12 years old,
Yeah.
I thought brats looked like brats you get in the package of 5 or 6 or whatever it is, and you grill them, and the way you know they're done is they start squirting.
Yeah.
I thought those looked like the most disgusting things I've ever seen.
So you're going to learn something about me today. I am not a big hot dog fan.
I'm cool with hot dogs, but I'd much rather have a brat.
I'm just not a fan of that kind of food.
Like brats, hot dogs, all of it.
Yeah.
I love a good Nathan's hot dog.
I blame my mom because she would feed me turkey dogs.
Okay.
And one day I just didn't like it. And
Turkey dogs. I've never had one of those.
It was nasty.
So
Nasty.
compared to hot dog. But like a regular hot dog, you can't do that. Like turkey dogs ruin that for you.
Yeah, can't eat them. Last time I tried to eat one was 8 years ago, and I spit it out. I'm not a fan of hot dogs.
Are you a picky eater in general?
Yeah, I would say I am.
A friend of mine is a vegetarian. She played the ultimate trick on another friend by putting tofu dogs on the grill.
Oh hell.
I would never forgive your friend if she did that.
Real quick, AJ, is there like another food out there that you don't touch that would maybe be shocking, or we'd be like, oh, how could you not eat that?
I don't like
Brisket.
sauce on spaghetti, but outside of that, not really.
You just like plain spaghetti, like
Yeah.
with Parmesan cheese?
Butter.
Butter
Just
noodles.
butter
Butter
noodles?
noodles, yeah.
That's not spaghetti. That's
my-
butter noodles.
My girlfriend's daughter really likes that. Well, that's going to wrap her up. Same thing tomorrow. We're on from 4 to 5 for AJ, Troy, and Mitch. Go Cats.